The old man was always fascinated by the ancient tales of Cerberus, the mythical creature with the body of a lion, the head of a serpent, and the tail of a dragon. He would often sit by the fire, lost in thought, his wrinkled hands caressing the worn pages of an ancient tome. One day, while browsing through the dusty shelves of the library, he stumbled upon a hidden volume that spoke of a long-forgotten ritual that could summon Cerberus from the depths of Hades. Intrigued, he decided to perform the ritual, never imagining the horrors that awaited him. As he followed the ancient instructions, the air around him began to stir, and a chill ran down his spine. He could sense the presence of something otherworldly drawing near. Suddenly, a massive, three-headed beast burst forth from the infernal flames, its eyes glowing like embers, and its jaws dripping with saliva. The old man stood frozen in fear, knowing that he had unleashed a horror upon the world. Cerberus surveyed its new domain with a hungry gaze, its serpentine head scanning the landscape for prey. The old man knew that he was but a small morsel compared to the mighty creature that now stood before him. As Cerberus slowly advanced, its massive paws leaving deep impressions in the earth, the old man closed his eyes, resigned to his fate. But just as the beast was about to strike, a bright light pierced the darkness, and a voice boomed through the night in the name of the gods. "I command you to return to your realm." The old man dared to open his eyes, and there stood a figure clad in shining armor, a sword in hand. It was a hero sent by the gods to vanquish Cerberus and restore balance to the world. The three-headed beast let out a deafening roar, but it could not withstand the power of the hero's command. With a mighty swing of his sword, the hero severed Cerberus's heads from its mighty necks, and the creature crumpled to the ground, its lifeless body steaming in the afterglow of the battle. The old man breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the world had been spared from the horrors of Cerberus. But he also knew that his own actions had set this terrible chain of events in motion, and he would live with the guilt for the rest of his days. As the last embers of Cerberus faded away, the hero turned to the old man. "You have meddled in matters beyond your understanding," he said gravely. "The gods have granted you a second chance, but you must use it wisely. Seek out those who can help you understand the power you have unleashed, and find a way to atone for your sins. For the shadow of Cerberus will always loom over you, and should you ever summon it again, the world will not be so lucky." The old man nodded, tears streaming down his face. He knew that the hero spoke the truth. He would spend the rest of his days atoning for his mistake, searching for a way to make amends. As he walked away from the site of the battle, the weight of his actions pressing down upon him like an invisible burden, he vowed to dedicate his life to understanding the power he had unleashed. The hero, satisfied that the threat had been vanquished, turned his attention back to his own kingdom. But he knew that the old man's tale would not be forgotten, and that the world would remain vigilant against those who sought to unleash the horrors of Cerberus upon it. For as long as there were stories told of the three-headed beast, the memory of the hero would live on, a shining example of courage and selflessness in the face of unimaginable evil. Time passed, and the old man became a legend in his own right, remembered not only for his foolishness, but also for the great heroism he inspired. Scholars debated the nature of the ancient ritual and the true meaning of the prophecy that had brought Cerberus to their world. Some claimed that the old man had been a pawn in a larger game, while others insisted that his actions had been the result of hubris and ignorance. In the end, it did not matter, for as long as there were people who remembered the terror of Cerberus and the hero who had faced it, The balance between the worlds of the living and the dead would remain unbroken. And the old man, though he would never find peace in his heart, would know that his actions had served a greater purpose, however unwittingly. The horrors of Cerberus would never again be unleashed upon the world, and for that, he could find some small measure of solace. But the knowledge of the ancient ritual and the means to summon Cerberus would not be lost. In secret libraries and hidden scrolls, it would remain, waiting for someone else to stumble upon it. And so the cycle would continue, the eternal struggle between the light and the dark, the living and the dead. It was a burden that the old man would carry to his grave, and one that would be passed down through the generations, like a baton in a relay race without end. But there were those who, inspired by the hero's example, worked tirelessly to prevent such a fate. They studied the ancient texts, seeking not to unleash the power they contained, but to understand it and contain it. They forged alliances between kingdoms and races, and they built great temples and shrines to the gods, hoping that their devotion would protect them from the shadow that still loomed over the world. And sometimes, on the darkest nights, when the wind howled and the shadows danced, they would gather round a fire and tell stories of the old man and the hero, reminding themselves that the battle against the darkness was far from over. The old man lived out the rest of his days in solitude, haunted by the memories of Cerberus and the weight of the knowledge he now carried. He wrote his account of the events, hoping that it might serve as a warning to others who might be tempted to meddle in matters best left to the gods. But in the end, he knew that his fate was sealed. He had unleashed the beast, and now he must live with the consequences for the rest of his days. And so it came to pass that the old man died, his last words whispered into the ears of his faithful servant. He was buried with the ancient tome that had started it all, the key to unlocking the secrets of the underworld and the power to bring forth the end of days. But even as his body turned to dust, the stories of the old man and the hero lived on, passed down through the generations, a testament to the eternal struggle between light and darkness, and a reminder that in the end, it is not the ones who summon the beast who shape the world, but those who stand against it. In time, the memory of Cerberus faded into myth and legend, becoming little more than a campfire tale to frighten children and warn them of the dangers of meddling in things best left untouched. But there were always those who remembered, who studied the ancient texts and sought to understand the power that lay dormant beneath the earth. And so it was that a new generation of heroes rose, prepared to face the horrors that might yet come, should someone once again dare to summon the three-headed beast from the depths of Hades. They trained in secret, honing their skills and learning the ways of ancient magic, forging alliances between the kingdoms and races of mankind. They built great temples and shrines, dedicating their lives to the gods, in the hope that their devotion would protect them from the darkness that still lurked in the shadows. And as the years passed, their numbers grew, their strength and resolve unwavering in the face of the terrors that they had sworn to vanquish. But even as they stood vigilant against the darkness, there were those who sought to use the knowledge of Cerberus for their own gain. They formed secret societies and cabals, plotting to harness the power of the beast and bend it to their will. They delved deep into forgotten ruins and darkened caverns, searching for the key to unlock the secrets of the underworld. And it was only a matter of time before their schemes came to light.